and welcome to part 2 in this Introduction to Yoga series. Last week we focused a lot on the foundation of the physical postures, and now we're going to take some of that static knowledge and bring it into what's referred to as a vinyasa practice. So a vinyasa is using breath with movement. So building on those foundational aspects of the physical asanas, today we'll focus more on the breath. And it's these two limbs that are a part of a larger system called the eight-limbed path, a path brought to us by Patanjali and the Yoga Sutras. And these two limbs, what's beautiful about them is simply by engaging in them, they draw on the other 8 limbs. So we notice how when we get into our body and we start to stabilize the breath, we necessarily develop a level of concentration. And it's said that it's this concentration that leads to meditation. And so we notice how these things start to pull on each other. And actually the first 2 limbs of the 8-limbed path are what's referred to as the yamas and the niyamas. And these are the ethical principles of a yoga practice. So simply by being in our body, being engaged with our breath, we develop this concentration that starts to have ripple effects into how we ethically relate to our lives. So the yamas and the niyamas are our relationship with ourselves and also our relationship with each other. So again, just to further reiterate that what we're doing here on our mat is really just a foundation and a motivation for how we show up to the rest of our lives, and realizing that that's really part of the pure and true intention of what this yoga practice was designed for. And what we're going to work with today is simply noticing what changes when we start to notice the breath. And the breath that's specifically related to this vinyasa practice is a breath called Ujjayi breathing. And this is often translated to an oceanic breath. It sounds like an ocean wave in the back of our throat. And it's also called sometimes a Darth Vader breath. So if you're not there already, you can join me in a cross-legged seat using any form of pillow or cushion to help prop your hips up a little bit higher than your knees. And then we'll start with your left hand down on the thigh, and you can take your right hand and we'll bring it in front of the face. So you'll inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth. As if you're fogging up a mirror, you should feel the breath on your hand. A few more rounds, breathe in through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Breathing in. And really fog up the mirror. All right. Now we'll start to release both hands down to the thighs. And you can start to close your eyes. And what our goal is with this Ujjayi breathing is that we'll have the same effect of the exhale, but by closing the mouth. So you can breathe in deeply through the nose. And then keep the mouth closed. Maintain constriction at the back of the throat as you exhale out the nose. You should hear that slight oceanic sound at the back of the throat. I'll take a few more rounds, breathing in. And breathe out through the nose. And I'll let you take about 5 more rounds of this breath in silence on your own. And after your next exhale, lose any control or manipulation of the breath. You can keep the eyes closed, but just listen to the natural breath. And simply notice if there's any effect on the mind and the body just by taking a few rounds of conscious Ujjayi breathing. And it's that breath that we're going to take into our movement today. So from here, we'll start, as we always do, by grounding in. You can take your hands, rub your palms together. Take a deep breath in with your hands at your heart. Exhale out the mouth. Twice more like that, breathing in. Sigh something out the mouth. And once more. Release your hands down to your thighs. And start to set the intention for why you wanted to practice yoga today. Considering what you hope to feel in your body, the commitment you want to make to your breath, or just any simple reason you have for choosing to set aside this time and be with yourself. And with that, we will start to move. So you can move any props or pillows off to the side for now. And we'll come into a child's pose. So child's pose we can do either knees together or apart. I like knees apart because it gives more space for the body to fold down. You can bring your toes together, and we're going to sit back toward the heels as you lengthen the arms out long in front of you. And now it's possible that you might want some more support here. So maybe you would want to bring this cushion back down in front of you, or anything that would help rest the forehead. But if it feels comfortable without support, you can move it to the side, and we're just going to be here for about 5 breaths to ground in. So really notice the point of contact that your hands have with the ground, that your hips have reaching back toward the heels, and maybe even the contact that your third eye space or your forehead has with the ground. And it's here that we'll start to cultivate that Ujjayi breath. So you can breathe in slowly through the nose. And then constrict the back of the throat as you exhale through the nose. And we'll start to add movement to this breath. So the inhale will carry you onto the hands and knees, maybe slightly lifting the heart forward. And then exhale will send hips back toward heels, lengthen down into your child's pose. Continuing this like a wave as you ripple and curl through the spine. Inhale lifts you forward, maybe slight lift of the gaze. And exhale sends you back in space, lifting tailbone toward the sky and then releasing it down back toward the heels. Take 2 more rounds with your own breath. Final round in through the nose. And exhale back. Inhale carries you up onto hands and knees, finding a tabletop position. We root the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, and we'll keep that movement and that breath flowing with this cat-cow as you inhale, arch the spine, lift tailbone, lift gaze. Exhale out the nose, contract the chin into the chest, lift the back of the heart toward the sky, cat pose. Inhale to lift up, arch the back. And exhale, release and contract in. Again, we'll take 2 more rounds, just starting to build some fluidity in the spine. And after your next exhale, just take any movement that feels good. So maybe you roll into the head and neck. You can take some movement in the shoulders, sway the hips side to side. But continue to stay mindful to the breath. Next inhale takes you back through tabletop. Exhale here. And start to walk the palms like one more palm in front of themselves. We'll step the knees back just a little bit and then toes toward the sky, coming into like a modified plank position. Inhale here. Exhale, bend at the elbows, chest comes down toward the ground. Tops of feet root down to the earth. Hands stay under the shoulders with thumbs in toward the rib cage. As you inhale, lift up baby cobra. As you exhale, back down to the ground. Continuing to flow with this movement as you inhale, lift. Exhale, back down. One more round like that. Breathing in, lifting heart, maybe lifting gaze. Exhale down. Again, making a bit more fluid, you can tent the fingertips to the sides of the mat, and we'll move a bit more spontaneously into the shoulders and rolling through the head and neck. Continuing to listen to the sound of the breath, because we really want to allow the breath to move the body. One more inhale back through center, lift tall. And exhale down onto the belly. Hands come under the shoulders. And we'll lift back up to hands and knees, tabletop position. All right, and from here we're going to slowly move into your down dog. But again, doing it with movement and incorporating breath to match. So you'll start to curl your toes under. As you inhale, lift up into your cat pose. Lift the knees lightly off the mat. And then exhale, knees down. Contract chin to chest. Doing that again as you inhale, arch the spine, lift the knees off the mat. Exhale, knees down, contract chin to chest. This time, lifting the hips a little bit higher. So we want to arch the spine, lift up the knees. These are the high hips that we want for down dog. Pause. Exhale, knees come back down to the ground. Contract chin to chest, lift the back. This time we'll go all the way. As you inhale, arch the spine, lift the knees, lift the hips. Hips go high. Exhale, lowers heels toward ground as you downward facing dog. Take any movement that might feel good as you arrive here. But continue to hear the sound of your breath. Inhale, tiptoes. Exhale, light bend in the knees as you step toward the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to shins, flat spine, shoulders roll back. Exhale, release down. Inhale, arms lift overhead. Exhale, hands to heart, and just pause here with your eyes closed. Maintain awareness on the sound of the breath. Moving like an ocean, we'll now transition through some vinyasa style flows. So you inhale, lift arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step right foot back into a low lunge. Knee comes down. Inhale, lifts the gaze. Exhale, plant hands. Lift up the back knee, step to high plank. Option, of course, for knees up or down as we flow. But as you exhale, you'll bend into the elbows, chest down toward the earth. Inhale lifts you up, baby back bend, top of feet root down. Exhale, chest lowers down. Curl toes under. Lift hips high to downward facing dog. One cycle of breath here, in through the nose. And back out. Inhale, steps right foot forward between the hands. Left knee lowers. Inhale, lifts the gaze forward. And exhale, step to the top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms reach high overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Flowing with the second side. Inhale, lift high. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plant hands, step left foot back. Lower the left knee down. Inhale, lifts the gaze, straightens the spine, stretches the psoas. Exhale, plants hands, curls up back knee. And moving through your flow, knees up or down. The exhale carries you halfway or all the way. Inhale lifts you up, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, we meet downward facing dog. One cycle of breath here. Exhale. Inhale, steps left foot forward between the hands. Right knee comes down. Inhale, lifts the gaze. Exhale, steps it forward, top of the mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms high overhead. Exhale, hands at heart and pause. Listen to the breath. And now we'll add on. Inhale, lift arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, plant hands, step right foot back. Right knee comes down. Inhale, lifts, gaze. And exhale, we'll start to straighten the front leg. Hands can either stay on the ground or come to the hips. And we'll do 2 more rounds here. We'll inhale, lift forward. And exhale, sink hips back. Hands can stay on the ground if that feels okay. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lengthen, starting to stretch into the hamstrings. Inhale, back through center. Hands plant down. We step back to flow. Again, knees up or down. Exhale, lowers you toward the ground. Inhale, lifts you up, light back bend. Exhale, chest to ground, curl toes under, lift hips high, downward facing dog. One breath here. Exhale. Inhale, steps right foot forward between the hands. Left knee lowers down. Gaze shifts forward on the inhale. And then exhale again, we lower hips back in space. Find the best place for your hands. And 2 more rounds, listening to the sound of the breath. You can always keep a deep bend in the knee, whatever feels best for the hamstring. Next inhale carries us forward. Step the left foot forward to meet the right, halfway lift. And exhale, lower down, forward fold. Inhale, arms high overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. 1 round, 1 cycle of breath here. Shifting into the left side. Now you know where we're going. Inhale, lifts arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plant hands. Step left foot back this time. Left knee lowers. Inhale, lifts heart forward. Exhale, starts to straighten front leg. Send hips back. 2 more rounds. Listen to your breath. Next, inhale back into your lunge. Plant the hands. Step back through high plank. Knees up or down as we exhale into the elbows. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, we meet downward facing dog. 1 cycle of breath here. Exhale. Inhale, steps left foot forward. And let the breath carry you. Right knee comes down. Inhale, lifts. Exhale to straighten. 2 more rounds. Your breath, your movement. Can it start to feel like a meditation? Building concentration, building awareness, body, mind, and breath. Next inhale takes us back to lunge to the top of the mat. Inhale halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms high overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. Pause here and just listen to the sound of the breath. Notice the body relax. Let there be a pause. We'll take 1 more flow, evening out both sides, and then we'll shift into some more standing. So inhale, lift arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands. This time we'll step just both feet back right into your high plank. And if you don't feel like flowing more, you can just meet us in child's pose or downward facing dog. Exhale to lower you down toward the ground. Inhale to lift you up. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. We'll take about 3 deep breaths here. So if you want to take a rest in child's pose, you can. Knees down toward the ground. Arms long overhead. Continuing to listen to the sound of the breath. Next inhale, we'll make our way to all meat and downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg toward the sky. Exhale, step it through. We're gonna find a low lunge, but with the knee up this time. So the left knee will be up. We're finding this lunge space with the knee stacked over the ankle, and then start to inhale, lift your arms overhead. So we maintain this 90-degree bend in the front knee, and you can see I'm lifting up on my back heel, so I'm actively engaged through the back toes. Inhale here. Exhale. Sink maybe a little bit lower. Inhale. And we're gonna exhale, draw hands onto the hips, straighten the front leg, and we're gonna step the back foot in just a little bit. So the back foot stepped in just a little bit. What we're looking for is this alignment between the front heel and the back heel. But that's also not the same for everyone. So just finding the space in your feet that feels most stable to you. So we're gonna inhale here. Exhale, lower halfway over the leg. Continuing to breathe. And then if it feels comfortable, you can bend as deeply into the front knee. We're gonna start to lengthen out here. Continue to breathe. Focusing on the hamstring. And this is called pyramid pose. So we went from high lunge into a pyramid. We're gonna inhale, lift arms back overhead. Exhale, hands to heart. And now we're gonna step it to the top of the mat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plant hands. We step back, downward facing dog. Switching to the left side. Inhale, lift left leg high. Exhale into your lunge stance. Keep the back knee lifted. And then inhale, lifts the arms overhead, finding your high lunge. Exhale to sink in and continue to breathe. And then we step the back foot in about a foot or so. Straighten the front leg. Inhale. Exhale, hands come onto hips. Lower halfway down, starting to stretch the hamstring and neutralize the parallel hips. Continue to stay here, or maybe you bend a little deeper into the front knee, release the hands down, and get a little bit of a deeper stretch in the hamstrings. One more breath where you are. Next, inhale lifts you back up through center. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, steps you forward, top of the mat. Exhale, pause. So now we're going to link some of these movements, the high lunge and the pyramid, and put them into a flow. So just come on a little journey with me, and we'll flow through movement, and then we'll rest. All right. Inhale, lift arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plant hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifts right leg high. Exhale, steps it through. Inhale to high lunge. Exhale to pause. Inhale to step back foot in, lift tall. Exhale to pyramid pose. Fold down. Relax. One breath in here. Exhale. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hands to hips. Inhale, step forward. This time, lifting left knee in toward the chest. Maybe pausing to stand on your way. And so now we're balancing on the right foot, lifting the left knee in toward the chest. And start to turn that knee out toward the side. It can come anywhere below the knee, or you can, with the help of your hand, bring it anywhere above the knee. And we'll find a tree pose. Hands come into the heart. Feel the rooting down in the right leg. My instinct was to say, maybe close your eyes, but that's going to make it harder. So whatever feels good. Next, inhale, start to open your arms wide. You can take up space in your tree, maybe move around. And then we'll inhale the left knee back in toward the chest. Exhale into your Tadasana. Stand and pause, arms at your sides. Just notice how the body feels. All right, let's shift into the second side. Top of the mat. Inhale, lift arms overhead. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to halfway. Exhale to plant hands. We step right back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lifts left leg high. Exhale, step it through. Between the hands, inhale, lifts arms up to high lunge. Exhale, stay. Inhale, steps back foot in a little bit. Straighten the legs, stand tall. And exhale into your forward fold, your pyramid pose over the thigh, bending as deeply into the knee as you need. One round of breath here. Exhale. Inhale, back through center standing. Lift arms overhead. Exhale, hands to hips. Now you know where we're going. Bend deep into the left knee as right knee comes in toward the chest. And shifting this into your tree pose as you send the knee outside. Foot can root below the knee, even balancing on the ground if that's helpful. Or you can take the hand, draw the foot above the knee, and find the space of connection. As you're ready, maybe you inhale, arms wide to the side. Take any movement. Notice what the breath inspires you to do. Hands come back to heart. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, settle it down. Maybe sway a little bit side to side. You can relax arms down. Start to close your eyes and just pause in your equal standing and notice how the body feels. Listen to the sound of the breath. Feet come back together to touch. Inhale, lift arms overhead. Exhale to forward fold. You can bend as deep into the knees as feels good. And then we'll come down to seated. So you can bend at the knees, find a seat. And we're going to start by continuing this journey in the parallel hip hamstring land. You can extend your left leg out in front of you and draw your right foot in to refine this tree shape on the ground. So what we want is to parallel the shoulders and the hips toward the leg, but it's also not necessary that we overstretch the hamstrings, or especially that we touch the toes. We want to focus on linking the breath to the movement, really for the sake of our spine. So I'd like to start with hands tented on either side of the leg, and we'll just start to breathe in. And as you exhale, lower the navel into the back of the spine and notice how the body folds closer to the leg. Maybe next inhale, hands walk a little bit further forward, lengthen the spine, crown of the head toward the toes, and as you exhale, maybe sink in a little bit deeper. Again, nowhere that we're trying to go, we're just trying to follow the sound of the breath. Exhale. Continue to listen to the Ujjayi for 3 more rounds, stretching over the leg and noticing the effect that the breath has on the body. Next inhale takes you back through center. Walk the hands in. Exhale and pause in your seat. And then we'll switch to the second side. So you can start to lengthen the right leg out in front of you. Bring the left foot up and in for your tree stance. And again, take a moment to consciously shift the body to face toward the leg. Bringing fingertips on either side, we'll take one long inhale into the spine. And exhale, start to lower the heart toward the shin. Thinking most importantly about the length of the spine as you inhale. And exhale. Notice where the body wants to go with the engagement of the breath. Take 3 more rounds. Last round of breath. Next inhale, walks hands in toward the hips. Exhale, settles you down. We'll start to bring both legs out in front of you. Give them a little shake, a little movement. And then taking the right foot, we'll cross it over the left thigh. Take the right hand, place it behind the lower back. Inhale, lifts the left arm high to the sky. Exhale, we'll find a twist. So either elbow can come outside the thigh, or you can also hug the thigh in toward the chest. And again, the aim here is the breath and the spine. So you can start to inhale to lengthen the spine, and then exhale to twist. 3 more rounds, breathing in and out. One more inhale where you are. Exhale, twist a little bit deeper. And then we'll inhale, unravel back through center. Exhale, lengthen both legs out in front of you. And give them a little shake, a little shimmy. And then we'll switch to the second side. Left foot crosses over right thigh. Left hand plants behind the lower spine as you inhale, lift right arm overhead. Exhale, find the twist arm that feels best for you. And we'll take about 5 rounds of breath here. So the inhale grows the spine, and the exhale twists you, sinks you in. Continue to listen to the breath and watch and notice the pose. One more inhale to lift you. Exhale, deepest twist. Inhale, ravels us through center. Exhale, both legs out long in front of you. And then take a little shimmy forward. Inhale, lift arms out in front of you. And we exhale, lower ever so slowly onto your back. And notice if you can be as mindful and as slow through this journey as possible. And then once you arrive, take a pause, take a break, just letting everything relax and take up space, lying down on your back. Continue to hear the breath. Notice how the body feels, how the mind feels. And we'll take a few more rounds of this linking breath to movement through our bridge pose. So you can start to walk the feet in toward the hips. Hands will come down to the sides of the body. And we'll again be moving like a wave here. So as you inhale, lift the hips, but also lift the arms up overhead. And then exhale, arms come back down, hips come back down toward the ground. And just continue to keep this moving with your own breath. Inhale, lifts hips, lifts arms overhead. And exhale, lowers and returns everything back down toward the ground. A few more rounds. Maybe eyes start to close and you can listen in to the sound of the Ujjayi breath. Noticing how it moves you. Noticing if it moves you. And last round here on the exhale, we'll meet with everything down on the ground. Give your knees a little squeeze in toward the chest. You can bring hands to shins, maybe rock a little bit side to side. Start to release your arms. Lift your feet into the sky like a modified brief legs up the wall. You can roll through the ankles and the toes. And then just take a moment and notice if there's any other movement that's calling to you to do in your body right now. And maybe a happy baby would feel good. Bringing the knees out wide to the side. Hands to the shins or to the feet. Just listening to anything that the body needs before we lower into your final rest. And as you're ready for that rest, really allowing the body, of course, to take up space, feet to be at least mat width distance, arms nice and wide. Exhale, let all of the breath go. Take a moment and rock your head from side to side. And take a moment then to settle in at center. Close the eyes. and invite yourself into this surrender, this letting go. And as you lie here, noticing that you can lose the grip or the control of the Ujjayi breath. And just let the breath be natural, let the body let go. Notice if there's any spaces where you're still holding on to tension. And see if you can create some space for them to fold deeper toward the ground. And we'll be here for a few moments in silent rest, so just lean back and enjoy. from lying on your back, start to take a deep, deep breath in. Exhale something out the mouth, let it go. And really listen to the simplicity of the breath. You can take some light movements into your fingertips and your toes. Maybe rock the head from side to side. And then again, we'll start to draw the knees in toward the chest. And give them a little hug. And then as you're ready, you can rock onto your right side in like a sort of fetal position with your knees in towards your chest. You can use the right arm as a pillow for the head. And just continue to take a few moments here, breathing and integrating the practice into the body. And then on your next inhale, we'll start to make your way back up into the cross-legged seat that we started in. So finding your cross-legged seat, settling in with your hands down on your thighs. Eyes are closed and we simply notice. When we draw awareness to body and breath, what is the impact that it has on the mind? And when we engage in a practice that slows down the breath, that makes us aware of our body, makes us aware of our mind, what is the effect that it has on us, on our lives? So in the name of the yamas and the niyamas, and to celebrate the whole 8-limbed system, only one example of a system of yoga, how would you like to take something from this practice into the rest of your life? So just taking a moment to reflect on what's one thing that came to you from your time here on your mat that you can start to carry with you out there once you leave and step off of this space. Breathing in that intention as you start to inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, draws them into the heart. Thank you for going on this breath and movement journey with me. I don't know if you can tell, but yoga is like my favorite thing in the whole world. So I hope that you're starting to fall in love with it in the same way that I and so many other people have. So thank you. I hope you return for part 3 next week. And I hope you find a way to integrate these practices into your life. Thank you.